I shouldn't like the Pathless as much as I do. Or at least, it feels like I shouldn't. It's not the first game to star a bow wielder with an eagle companion, while puzzles litter the landscape like shrines from Breath of the Wild. And if you're wondering, did he just compare Breath of the Wild, a modern Nintendo masterpiece, to the same level of quality as a generic Ubisoft game? The answer is yes, deal with it, look at those towers! And oh yeah, we got towers here too, but these towers have one purpose, shooting freaking light laser beams at storm clouds. We'll get to these fluffy hellscapes in just a second. In order to shoot a freaking light laser beam, you need lightstones. Can I call them jiggies? Have you not played Banjo-Kazooie? Like, look at these puzzle pieces, they're jiggies. You'll get jiggies at points of interest around the area. These are identified with your spirit mask that makes all of them light up like pulsating red dwarves. You'll get to them by running through the environment while shooting Talisman to get a speed boost. As for the puzzles themselves, it's not like they're all that difficult. I mean, get your bird to put a thing on a switch, turn a mirror, shoot an arrow, whatever. No, it's more that you need to solve it right now, otherwise you're going to be swallowed by the most terrifying force of evil that I've ever seen in a video game. Do you know how brave you have to be to stare this thing in the face? If you are unfortunate enough to be taken in by the miasma death cloud, your bird will be swept away from you and you'll have to go through a stealth section in order to retrieve it. But don't worry, because once you and your bird friend reunite, you just wipe it off. Just like, get all that gross death energy off of you, buddy. What are you doing in that hellscape, you whippersnapper? Outside of being your objective to get out of the stealth gameplay, the bird is there to give you much needed height. Each flap of its majestic wings shoots you up into the air. Oh, and the bird can also be a nuclear bomb. Only in boss fights, though. Each of the 4 areas has a boss encounter. While each boss will start off with a similar chase sequence, once things get started, you'll head off to that boss's arena for multiple unique phases. It might be easy to say that the game is repetitive, and all you do in the Pathless is collect lightstones, fight a boss, move on, repeat, and that's the whole game. And to some extent that's true, but I think it's a little oversimplistic. The real joy of the game comes from getting away from the storm cloud in the nick of time, or nailing that stealth section that you've been caught in for the 3rd time in this area, or locking in the last lightstone, or once you do, gliding into the storm head first, chasing down the boss and putting it down. And it's about doing all this without any cost of failure somehow. I mean, that's crazy, right? How can it feel so triumphant to finish off an area boss when there's no penalty for losing? Sure, you can get caught in the stealth section, or hit hard in a boss fight, but you don't die. To the credit of the Pathless, it never loses the stakes. These tasks feel important, and the journey is magnificent. For the trophy list, as usual, we have a bunch of do all the things. All nearby points of interest light up red from your spirit mask, so this will help you cover all of the lightstones in each area for those 4 trophies. Once you have all of the lightstones, turn them in at the location where you fought that area's boss. You'll have a bit of a jog with the spirit of the area, and then the spirit will give you a unique upgrade. All of these upgrades unlock an additional trophy, and they're just really fantastic all around. I recommend getting them as you play through the game rather than doing cleanup after you finish. Some of the points of interest instead contain lanterns to up your number of wing flaps with the eagle. Such a weird statement, wing flaps. Some of the points of interest instead contain lanterns that can up the number of times your eagle can flap its wings. But I also found plenty of lanterns without the red markers, so keep your eyes peeled as you'll need to find 45 for all of the lantern trophies. This isn't all of the lanterns in the game. I was still finding more after I got the last trophy, but I do believe that it's most of them. You're also going to want to be on the lookout for lore markers, either these large slabs of text or blue orbs next to a corpse. These are all over the place, and you're going to need 45 of them as well for all the trophies related to lore. Additionally, you also have the Pathfinder's Tale trophy, which is for finding all of the lore related to the Pathfinder. Originally, I thought this trophy was asking you to find all of the lore in the game, but I got it way earlier than I expected. My guess right now is that this trophy is asking you to obtain all of the lore in 4 specific key areas of the game where the Pathfinder has been. They're pretty obvious once you find them, as it's just absolutely littered with corpses. And now we've got the miscellaneous trophies. I think one of them is missable, as Storm Survivor requires you to survive 3 storm encounters without getting caught. Once you beat the game and load back in, there's no more storm encounters and you're free to roam the land unimpeded. You'll probably get this naturally, so it's not really an issue, but just in case, it's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind. Most of the other trophies you'll get by accident, or very quickly after seeing what they are. The only other ones I think are worth talking about are Skillshot Master and Forest Whisperer. Skillshot Master requires you to get 10 skill shots in a row. This is for shooting a talisman when your arrow charge is at exactly the halfway mark. Doing this will give you an additional boost to your stamina. For this one, I recommend just standing still and repeatedly shooting the same couple of talisman so you don't have to worry that you're also running in a good direction. Forest Whisperer requires you to run with 6 animals at once, and it's probably the most finicky and Disney princess-esque trophy in the game. Running next to an animal will cause it to run with you for a little while. The animal will disappear if you get too far ahead or it can't keep up with you, so you'll have to carefully gather 6 animals while maintaining your speed to keep all the ones you've already nabbed. I must have gotten to 5 animals like 6 or 7 different times, and every time my animals would disperse right when I got the last one. Eventually I did get it though, so I'd say if this one is giving you trouble, just keep at it and you will get it too. The Pathless is compelling and able to draw you in despite its very minimal storytelling. It's fun the entire way through despite incredibly simple puzzles. The boss fights are top tier for the year, and I was itching to do a second playthrough as soon as I was finished. Don't let the trophies scare you off either, they're exactly what they need to be. And Austin Wintory composed the soundtrack. I mean, everyone just keeps talking about Journey and the music of Journey, and like, yeah, that music's great too, but he also did Monaco and the Banner Saga trilogy soundtracks. Like, the dude's amazing. He has tons of behind-the-scenes videos on his YouTube channel. Like, they're so cool. Absolutely check them out. He's great.